It's what he used to do in StreamYard.
Yeah, you can't really do that though because the countdown, and I can't turn that off.
He can surprise end it. He just can't surprise start it. Which is the opposite.
I don't know. Like, given the enthusiasm we've just had, like, I can definitely see you guys just barreling your way through, ignoring the countdown, and going, no, I need to make my point. Or maybe I'm just speaking for myself.
Oh no, we do that too. We just know we got
conversation about Spectrumites sax.
I know.
You do realize you have your place there as well, right? Like
I know, like I'm fully aware where I am, but I utilize it. I utilize it for the greater good.
The greater good.
The greater numerical.
Give it a rest, Frank.
Yeah, the greater numerical good. I have no idea what that means, but yes.
Oh my god, you've never seen Hot Fuzz?
I have seen Hot Fuzz. I didn't know that was that line was from there.
And killing all these people is for the greater good. And
the greater good.
Yeah. That one. I didn't know that the line.
Yeah, that's what Simon Pigg's had enough at the end. He's just like, give it a rest, Frank. He's just like, fuck, I'm so tired of hearing this term. Great movie. Actually, my favorite of the Cornetto movies.
If it makes you feel any better, I have not seen that movie, so I didn't get it either, Surface.
Did you see Shaun of the Dead?
No. It's a worthwhile trilogy to watch. They're all independent for their stories, and they're fun. The Hot Fuzz is the best one of the three of them.
Right? So there's nothing supernatural in Hot Fuzz. Shaun of the Dead's about the zombie apocalypse. No. End of the world is literally about the end of the world and the weird alien thing.
The World's End.
About cops. World's End, sorry. End of the World's the American one. World's End. And Hot Fuzz is just about a cop coming to a town and uncovering a conspiracy. It's like, it's so much fun. Can't be the sheriff of London, can we?
But it's also like the story is, the conspiracy is grand. It's the sort of like Hollywood level of like very intricate. Like I was loving the details that he was going into and the investigations. Like that was great. And then when it's revealed like what the conspiracy is actually about, you're sitting there going, "What? Really?"
Yeah.
Like it's gone from like this really high level thing to just like no, we're just
very petty. You remind me of him, but he had one thing you didn't have. What's that, Frank? A big bushy beard. What the fuck? Calm down. Exactly. I love that movie.
Very much worth watching.
Maybe someday. I very much fall into the camp of what you were describing. Of like people say, "Oh, you need to watch this," and there's a like, if you want me to not watch something, tell me that, and then I'll probably never watch it. Like, I'm so resistant. Like, if anyone comes up to me and they're like, "Oh, you gotta watch this, you gotta listen to this," I'm usually like, "Nah," which is ironic because I'm constantly doing that to other people.
Well, whatever you do, don't watch the Muppet Show.
I'd say.
Well, I did grow up.
I'd say
I did grow up with the Great Muppet Caper and like Muppet Treasure Island and there's another one. Oh, the Muppets Take Manhattan. I watched that a million times as a kid. So grew up.
I'll give you the Muppet Treasure Island just because it's got Tim Curry in it.
Yes,
it's good. I like that movie.
And Muppet Christmas Carol.
And I was gonna say, yep.
So there's a great bit where they talk about the difference between Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island in that the human that is mostly in the movies and how they interacted with the Muppets. And they say Michael Caine in Muppet Christmas Carol, treated the Muppets like they were real actors.
Mm-hmm.
And in Muppet Treasure Island, Tim Curry treated himself like he was a Muppet. And that's why those are the two strong ones, right? Those are the ones that really, really people respond highly to. I'm like you, Tori. I have never watched on purpose a single minute of Breaking Bad because I got so fed fucking up with people telling me how much I had to watch Breaking Bad. And I fell for their bullshit and watched the first season of Lost. I was never falling for that bullshit again.
Yeah.
I
never watched Breaking Bad. I skipped that one entirely because of basically that same reason. And I pretty much almost skipped Game of Thrones, but I finally caved and was like, all right, what is the big deal? Why does everyone care about this? And then I watched the first season, read the first 2 books, and I was like, I think I know why everyone's into this, but I'm not. And I quit after that.
So I watched 4 seasons of Breaking Bad, and every time I turn around and say it has been the biggest waste of my time, which shocks many people because they're like, "Well, how you had the last good the last season's the best." It's like, so I have to go through 4 seasons of disappointment.
That
This
right
is
there.
my problem with
That is,
Stargate SG-1. Every time I've tried to watch Stargate SG-1, I cannot get through the first fucking season. Everybody goes, "Oh yeah, but the first season's bad. You just got to get to the second season." No, I don't. Fuck you. The first season's bad. I'm not subjecting myself to this shit. No. Like, I
Yeah.
get you.
You know,
exactly. So I did that. I've had other people who when I said, "Oh, I watch Game of Thrones, but I don't watch Breaking Bad," they're like, "How can you do this? Like, how can you like one and not the other? Like, you should be watching both." It's like, no, Breaking Bad doesn't appeal to me. Like there were points of Breaking Bad that I enjoyed, but in the grand scheme of things, they were too small to justify the entire thing.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm being told, "Oh, you need to watch, Better Call Saul." I was like, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm not. No, no." Like, it was just.
How about no?
My family, like my mom, my aunt, my sister, my grandma, and their friend Tina, like the group of them are really, 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 really into true crime type stuff. Any kind of like NCIS, all of them. If there is a show of that genre, they have binge watched every fucking episode of it, and they're always, and I hate that stuff. And then so my sister was trying to get me into one of them, and she was trying to get me into a show, and so I was like, okay, fine, I'll try the show. And I watched like 1 or 2 episodes. I'm like, it's all right, but it's not a TV show. A movie is one thing. A TV show is a completely different ball of wax, and I don't watch TV shows. I just don't. I pretty much only do movies. And when we got to the first episode, she's like, "Well, you got to get through the first episode." And finally I snapped and I turned to her and I'm like, "Why is it that every single TV show known to man has that? I can't tell you how many times I've heard, well, you've got to make it past the first episode. Well, you've got to make it past the first season. Well, you've got to make it past the first. Well, it gets better." It's like, why? It should be good to start. Why do I have to, like you said, Bear, why do I have to waste my time getting through an episode or a season before it quote unquote gets, just have it be good in the first place? I mean, you're talking about hundreds of hours of your time invested. It should grab me from the get-go.
I go by the rule of, if I don't. Yeah, no, absolutely. If the first 3 episodes does not hook me in, I will not invest anything further, and that is assuming the pitch actually gets my interest. Maybe to shoehorn in, role-playing games. If I can't capture the player's interest within the first 3 sessions and with my pitches of what I am trying to do, at that point, I'm wasting people's time, and then that's not what I'm here for. Yes, Seraphis, your finger is being held up. We're back in school.
Well, we need to be, otherwise it's just chaos around here.
Yeah, it works.
Wait. When is it not chaos around here?
Brian, wait your turn.
That's right, you heard, teacher.
You will be chaotic in the appropriate allotted moments, sir.
Saxus, you're new here. You don't get to tell me to behave.
Saxus, you're now my
Brian,
spirit animal.
You think that I care.
Keep going. This is awesome.
Listen, blame this gentleman for.
Oh no, I don't have a problem with you being here. I'm just saying, you're the new guy.
Yes. Well, listen, the totem pole needs someone to support the foundation. Thank you, Brian. We appreciate it.
By the way, just a side note, it's really nice not being the new guy anymore.
Go on, Seraphis. You have points to make.
Just going back to what Gail was... oh my god. Bear was saying, in relation to Stargate, right? One of the biggest things I feel like is that Stargate suffered the exact same problem as The Next Generation. That first season, they had no idea what they were doing, and yet somehow generally got most of the biggest actors at the time to be on it in that first season during those first worst episodes.
Fair. For me, the problem is I love the Stargate movie. So I went into the Stargate series when it first aired going, oh, this will be interesting, seeing them expand it. Now, why is MacGyver in charge of everything? What the fuck's going on? And why is this character not cool and dealing with his trauma, but just irreverent and snarky all the time? Everyone says it gets better. Everyone says, "Oh, season 2, 3 on, it's amazing." I'm like, all right.
It's because they couldn't afford Kurt Russell.
You know, when your choice comes down to paying people to eat or getting Kurt Russell for your show, starve those fuckers.
Although it is kind of funny because he did visit the set several times.
Yeah, well,
I'll be honest. I've watched all of Stargate. I like Stargate. It's not that good. To me, it's kind of a guilty pleasure thing. It is definitely dated. Like, I've tried to go back and watch it more recently, and I've watched the whole thing like 2 or 3 times. I've tried to go back and watch it within the last couple of years, and like it just doesn't stick as well as it did the first time around.
Atlantis holds up a little bit better, but it depends on how you're also viewing it. Stargate Universe, though, just still comes off as a total fucking rip of that Battlestar Galactica series.
I love Universe. Universe was great.
Did you like Battlestar Galactica remake?
I did.
Yeah. Well, there's your first problem.
I never watched the original.
Okay, listen. Even without watching the original, if you just look at the BSG reboot as a concept, the miniseries was very interesting and captivating and drew me in. The first episode of the regular series, where they had to jump every 33 minutes, 33, fucking amazing. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, if the series is like this is. I don't care that they're fucking shitting all over the legacy. I don't care. This is great TV. And then it turned into who's the Cylon? Like, oh my god, that fucking was so stupid.
I didn't mind that. My problem, like, I think they just kind of didn't know what to do when they revealed...
And kept telling us they knew what they were doing. That was the other part. They kept telling us, we have a plan. No, you don't.
No, it was the Lost bullshit. It was the Lost bullshit all over. Yeah.
Right. And then it's bullshit. It's like, surprise, these guys are all Cylons too. It's like, really?
What? Wait, hang on. You had a Jimi Hendrix song playing earlier in the series, but now you're telling me the Earth is 10 million years before us? What the fuck are you talking? What are you smoking and where can I get some, please?
Right.
Jesus.
They did not land that series in the end. But this was that 2000s sort of thing, right? Where it was basically in the mid 2000s up until about 2010, 2011, the mystery box TV. Like, everyone took Lost as the way to go, and it was like, no, even Abrams doesn't do this well. Fuck. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
They were, if you look at the shows from the 2000s, they were blatantly ripping off or attempting to rip off the success of Twin Peaks. We spoke about this a little bit last week.
1,000,000% I agree with you on this. Whereas the scary part about Twin Peaks is Lynch knew what he was doing.
Right.
And when you watch that show and you're just left going, what the fuck?
Minus season 2.
That was the network.
Yeah. That was, and that's my point. You get a creator doing what he wants to do, and you've got a mind fuck. What? And it's awesome. You get a bunch of people in there that are trying to make a facsimile of, then things start to kind of break down. Then you get 25 years later, you get a third season, and it's like, oh my God. I mean, can you just imagine if him and Mark Frost were able to actually do what their vision was for season 2? Imagine how much greater it would have been.
I agree.
But all these other shows that are trying to do that, that's what you get. You get facsimiles of something. It's
I saw an article today. I didn't bother reading it in the end, but I read the summation of it, and it was basically explaining how Michael Bay can't get a movie greenlit these days. And it's like, think about that. He changed the entire film industry because of his success, Michael Bay, at one point in time, to the point where shaky cam and explosions was the order of the day in every fucking movie you ever saw. Stories that didn't make sense and were just one action sequence stapled to another with some hot chick in between them. And now that guy can't fucking get a movie greenlit. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on with entertainment? Not saying that there should be more Michael Bay, but I'm just saying, like, holy fuck, to go from top to nothing. That's a huge drop in a decade. You know what I mean? Like, that's a massive change of things. And it kind of creeps me out a little bit that that's the way the industry's going, is that whoever's on top is on top until they're not on top, then they're fucking garbage now. It's like, well, no. You know, what's his name? John Wayne at one point was the king of the box office. When he was no longer king of the box office, he still had something to add to the movies he was in, right? Like, he still had something. From directors, Hughes, John Hughes. You know, at one point he was the top of the box office, then he wasn't, but eventually he gave us, you know, Uncle Buck and Curly Sue and all these other movies that were beloved and shit like that.
Clint Eastwood, same way.
Same way. But this modern mentality, it's either you're hot or you're shit. And as a result, we're reaping the rewards, and I use rewards on that because it's not rewards, it's just garbage. And as a result, most of the movies that come out, the last movie I saw in the theaters was War of the Rohirrim. And then the last movie I had seen in theaters before War of the Rohirrim was Deadpool and Wolverine. And then the last movie I had seen before Deadpool and Wolverine was Dune 2. And then before that was Dune. Like, I used to go to the movies 3 times a week. And I would watch anything. I'd watch rom-coms, I'd watch dramas, I'd watch mysteries, I'd watch, action. I'd go see tons of stuff. Now it's like, you want to get me out there? It better be spectacle, because otherwise I'm not going for the regular stuff anymore.
I think the last movie I saw in the theater was either Spiral or the last, whatever that last Star Trek movie was.
Beyond.
Yeah.
Oof.
And I used to go to the movie theaters like all the time. You name a movie from the 80s, I was in the theater and I saw it.
Dude, when I was in college in the 90s, right next to my college was a mall, and they had a movie theater, right? 4 different screens showing 4 different movies. And it was $2 or $2.50 for a matinee. So I would arrange my classes so that I always had this 3-hour gap in the afternoon where I could catch the first showing of the day of whatever movie I wanted to go see. And I would go see 4 movies a week.
Yeah.
Didn't matter what they were. I just go. I haven't seen that. Let's go see that. Found some really great movies as a result of that. Now, get me to go to the theater, it's a fucking $50 outing for garbage. You go to the theater, it's like 8 screens showing the same fucking movie. It's like, whoa, boy.
Do you think that it's a cycle that self-perpetuates itself in the fact that because movies are so expensive, people aren't going? Because people aren't going, movie makers are getting more and more desperate to, instead of being creative and instead of experimenting, what they're doing is going with whatever they think will sell the best, kind of in the same way AAA games are. And then the more they do that, the even less people go, and then it's just the snake eating its tail, and it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
May I take a moment to explain a little bit of film history to you guys, just so you understand where we are in perspective to where we've been? Do you guys mind?
Yep. I don't mind.
Yeah. 50s and 60s, Westerns and musicals dominated Hollywood. But towards the end of the 60s, they weren't making money anymore. They were just no one was going to see them. They were bombing. They were failures, what have you. But Grindhouse was taking off, and stuff like Corman's exploitation films and Easy Rider and all this kind of stuff were hitting. So there's this producer whose name I can't remember his name right now, but they did a documentary about him called The Kid Stays in the Picture, which is a really good educational watch about what Hollywood is like at the time. He came along and he said, hey, let's do the same shit they're doing, but with a budget. So we get Jaws, which is just a Corman film, really. It's a big, giant monster movie. We get Dirty Harry, which is a cop exploitation film, et cetera, et cetera. And he revived the film industry. We got stuff like Taxi Driver and stuff like that, which were films that Hollywood never would have touched in a big way before, but suddenly they were losing so much money, they were willing to do anything to revitalize the industry. And they leaned into the exploitation, which led to the 80s, really, really intense exploitation. And then the 90s, indie stuff took off. And suddenly they were going, well, indie stuff seems to be the thing that's making money. And I was an actor auditioning in Vancouver at that time. And my buddy said, what's it like these days? I said, well, if I go to one more fucking audition where my character's pontificating about social issues while eating Jell-O and killing someone, I'm going to lose my fucking mind, because that's all I seem to audition for anymore, because that's what everybody's trying to do is Tarantino stuff. Well, we're at the same place now where they were in the 60s. They're not making the money like they used to. The stuff that they're putting out, people are tired of and they don't want. The thing is no one's figured out what the next step is. So there's going to be a producer who's going to come along, who's going to figure out what is the zeitgeist, hopefully, tap into it and revitalize the industry. Or, alternately, it's going to die. Finally. It will finally have the cinema experience will finally die. Who knows?
Well,
I've got an opinion on this. And I think that, and I know that you guys are animate against Breaking Bad. I get that. But I'm going to use that as an example. So You've got these movie companies that are pushing these movies out that nobody's going to see. Well, some people are going to see it, but for the most part, they're not as successful as what the majority of us would define as success. But there was a major shift in the mid-2000s to start producing TV shows. And in that TV show, you had the ability to make a drawn out but very intricate storyline that you don't have the luxury of in movies, in a 2.5 hour movie, unless you're planning on, multiple sequels or something. But then, take a look at any successful movie that there's going to set up for another sequel. You've got to wait 8 years to see the fucking sequel. That's a slight exaggeration, but the point is, you have to wait.
In some cases, you're right. Dude, there's a Spinal Tap sequel coming out this year. 40 fucking years later.
Now, is that you have to wait 40 years for a sequel, or is that a symptom of we can't make anything original anymore, so we're going to just carve the last 3 decades worth of material?
That's a good point.
I mean, that's
May I answer that with a
that's
yes.
Yeah. So that I don't think that follows what Brian was saying. But I mean, I get what you were trying to say.
Interlocked, Tori. That's the point. They're interlocked, which is basically
right. It does feed into it. But I think that's where you'll see the producers, Bear, that you were referencing, that are figuring it out. Let's take all the money that we would have put. Let's take a $150 million budget, but instead of putting it in this movie, let's put it in this TV show and run it for 5 seasons. And after that first season has recouped some of its expenses, we'll just put some more back into it. And then we start producing better and better shows.
That doesn't happen. As someone who works in the industry, let me explain to you why that doesn't happen. So, first of all, when you're shooting something, you're going to try and shoot it somewhere cheap. Australia, Canada, maybe even the UK these days, right? Like, you're going to shoot cheap.
Sure. Georgia.
Due to the rules that are in place, you have to have a local producer there who is in charge of the production. Okay, so you have to have an Australian producer, a Canadian producer, a British producer. That's why a lot of them in the 90s were going to the former Soviet Union and Iron Curtain states, because they didn't have to have those rules in place in those places, and they could do what they wanted. We have this problem in Canada, which is, let's say, Brian, you're an American producer, and you've created a $50 million budget for this movie you're going to shoot in Vancouver, right? But you hire other Brian Gurr as the local producer. He gets paid based on how much under budget he can come in. That's what he gets out of the process. So it's in his best interest to cut as many corners as possible to make sure he saves money, so that at the end of the production, he gets a big cash out and the production can go fuck itself because there'll be 10 more down the pipe for him. Well, the TV series are doing that same thing now. So they put a lot of money into the first season or into the opening, and then they reduce the budget as they produce more and more episodes. They don't up the budget.
I can see that as being valid. Secondary to what I was saying is, when you have that capability, though, you also have the capability of perfecting the storyline. That's why when some folks have told you, well, the first season was crap, you got to wait till the second season, because they've worked out the kinks. They have got that craft, that story craft worked out to a better point, to a better pace, to a better overarch.
And you're right.
dialogue.
And in the 90s and 2000s, that was accurate. In the modern age, if the first season doesn't
Right,
hit,
that's
you're
what I'm
fucked.
saying. Right, that's what I'm saying. And so, I mean, I think that is why you had this success boom of Netflix creating, stuff like Stranger Things, for example. And again, we're starting to, but the issue that we're seeing is that's where we're starting to fall into almost a mimic of Hollywood movies, in that look at what the gap is between seasons on Stranger Things. Look at what the gap. There's another show that we like to watch called You. It's about a psychopath that just kills people. They've got 4 seasons. They're working on a 5th, but it's been 9 years almost, since the first season. Yeah, I get that it takes time to film it and everything, but I see it slowly getting and degrading to that point where, okay, well, what are we supposed to do? Just sit around with our thumbs up our butts? Well, by the time the next season comes out, we've lost interest. We've moved on. The third big element that you face is, oh, this is an awesome show. I'm super into it. They canceled it.
Yep.
Well, fuck, I just wasted 2 life trying to watch this shit.
Yeah. Well, and this is like, so
and they left it on a cliffhanger by
like
Westworld. Oh yeah, and absolutely left on a cliffhanger where John Connor has, as a teenager, shot into the future, and now we never get to finish that fucking story.
Or even worse, you leave on a cliffhanger trying to figure out, how the fuck Annie is.
But so
or what year is it? Oh, you talk about a fucking cliffhanger, and now we'll never know.
Which one?
The third season of Twin Peaks. What year is this?
No.
Boom, end.
That wasn't a cliffhanger. That was him being done. And that was David Lynch just going, my dick, your brain. That's what that was. But no, like my latest obsession has been What We Do in the Shadows, the series, because I hated the movie. But because Taika Waititi's not funny to me, he's just annoying. But the series was written by different people, and I binge watched all 6 seasons. Right, 10 episodes a season was easy watch, and it was funny, and it had had no business being as good as it was. And then I found out there's no 7th season, but that's okay, because they knew that at the end of 6th season, they knew they weren't coming back to do any more, so they tied a nice little bow on the show and went, doop, ta-da, and it felt good. And I'm like, okay, there's not going to be any more episodes, but that's okay, because I don't have any questions. I'm not left hanging. I'm good. Thank you for giving me a nice send-off at the end. Brilliant. Well done. The streaming surge is done. I don't think people understand this yet. It's done. It's ran its course. It's finished. It's just become cable TV again, and people are looking for their next hit. And the problem is no one knows what the next hit is going to be. So like Slan was saying in the thing is that they may kill off theaters before they figure out the new thing. The next thing, they're going to kill off streaming as well before they figure out what the next new thing is.
I'm surprised that nobody's figured out a way to put advertisements in books that you buy at the that you pick up at the library. So you don't have any emoji things that happen when you do that one.
I was literally taking a drink as you said that, and I was fighting not to just spew all over my camera. Oh, you ass. Yeah. Well, that's like that Futurama thing, right? Where they put the ads in your dreams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think that's where we're going to head is books. I think books are going to make a comeback.
Tori just pushed her glasses up and said, actually, so we should pay attention, please.
Okay.
Oh, all I was going to say was that I actually liked the Futurama, the new ones that they put on Hulu.
I don't have Hulu in Canada, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those where they did the announcement like, oh, Futurama's coming back. And I'm like, yes! And then I'm like, wait a minute. Are they going to ruin this? Are they going to ruin this for me? But no, actually, it was pretty good.
Nice.
That's it. I don't have a proper actually. There's nothing to. I'm not as I'm not as knowledgeable about a majority of these topics, so half the time I can just sit and listen.
Fair.
And learn.
That's like when you guys talk about miniatures and shit. I'm just like,
yeah.
Hey nerds, want a topic?
All right.
what do we do to define a community for players?
Oh, that's the one that he posted in the.
Can we define community, please? No, I'm not being facetious. Like literally, what do you mean by community?
Group of like minds.
Yeah, I
Let's
don't
go back.
The particular question seems vague in like multiple locations.
Okay, so Sax put up, what do we do to define a city community for when the players play, from the fantasy setup with feudal rulings to the modern day to sci-fi games?
What, like the one that I popped into?
The suggestion you made. This is your one. Take it away.
Sure. So, I mean, basically, my setup was like, what do we do to make cities be different in terms of the setups, the ways that they can be governed, anywhere from, the typical way where everyone goes like, oh, it's a feudal system. It's like, well, there are many ways that a feudal system can be set up. It doesn't have to be European. You can be looking at some of the, Asian setups for how they were ruling with the various classes or the various ruling sects. One that I like to sort of defer to if I have to use European is that you will, of course, have the Lord, but they've then got their council that they then defer to. Well, what are they going to be that's going to make them different? What kind of advisors do they bring in? And for sci-fi games, you're going to be having honestly, you can open up the variety of different form of governance, and then sort of take it from there. How do you want a planet or a city or a station where everything is ruled via you need to trade something of equal weight value for something to be done, so that it changes around how the entire interactions are done and how the society is arranged. Am I making sense for people here? For how my deranged head is?
So I'm gonna ask one question real quick.
Sure.
So how many tabs do you have on your spreadsheet when you're prepping this?
Wrong. So it's not the tabs, it's the books that I open up. I end up having because I've got. Go on.
I just had to make a bad joke. That's really that was really all it was.
No, that's fair.
You succeeded, sir.
It's fair. You're technically correct.
Yeah.
The best kind of correct.
Yes, exactly. I would say, I think. Okay. Speaking as the idiot who has no experience, so take it.
Go on.
I would say literally the first thing that you have to do is you have to decide with your players what kind of a game are you running. Because if you don't know what kind of a game you're running, what does it matter what the city is like? Okay, if we're doing
decide with your players, what kind of fucking commie talk is that, sir? You tell your players what game they're playing. If they don't like it, you can go play someone else's.
No,
column A, column B.
I get what you're meaning. So, everyone's, they're invested into this. You want to make sure that you're all on the same page. However, unless your players are going to go and say, we are now living off the land, we do not return to society, we are now frontier people who does not have where the value of gold is meaningless to us, they will be interacting with some form of society at one way or another. And that society is going to be different, assuming that they migrate or they move around.
Right. But my point is more okay, it's not necessarily to appease Bear. I'm not saying, that
don't appease me.
Shut up, Bear. I'm not saying that you and your players have to sit down and decide exactly what you're doing, but I'm talking more okay, we're going to play an espionage game.
Yep.
Okay. Well, if we're playing an espionage game, that's going to impact what kind of cities do I use. If it's, are my players the heroes? Are my players, counter espionage? What is it? So if they're playing counter espionage, okay, am I playing counter espionage, but like they work for the evil, nation? Or if they're the actual spies, are they from the evil nation? So like, that I think is your first key, is to try and figure out, okay, what's the tone of the game? Because then you're going to decide what kind of a city, what kind of a community you want to then drop your players into.
No, that's a good one. Actually, let's take that one and then use espionage as an example. Let's set it in the Cold War era. And now let's put it down into, right, you are locals to a city. Right, well, let's pick a point in the world. Are we in the United States? Are we in the Soviet bloc? Are we somewhere in the Middle East? And then you are going to have to now start saying, like, okay, what kind of culture are we dealing with right here? Is it I'm going to pick on Shanghai from China, for example. That at the very beginning, it was it was barely even a city. It was, a collection of various fishing villages and the likes, and then just grew up to be an absolute metropolis. That has got a huge clash of, Western capitalism and the Chinese communist, iron hand that's going on in there. So you're going to be having a very wide variety of the various aspects you're going to have in that city. You could take the same if you were to go to Mumbai, or if you were to go to Tehran. You'd be having a number of different aspects that you can bring up. Even if you were playing something like, let's say you are in the United States. Let's say that you are playing as members of the FBI, and you are tasked with finding the counter or the mole that's within the FBI that is leaking information out to the KGB. Well, then the question may at some point pop up, like, is it one of us, the players, who are doing it? Is it one of our allies? Is it any of the other aspects of the city that we are in? There's going to be criminal elements, there's going to be the political elements, there's going to be the commerce elements. But these are within the aspect of a spy game. You're going to have to interact with various different aspects of what makes up a city. That's sort of like what I wanted to sort of bring about. Yes, the theme of the game absolutely has an impact. But let me twist it on the other side, where even if you're doing something like, I don't know, sci-fi exploration out there, not trucking, just exploration, going out and finding new planets, akin to what I understand of just Star Trek. I'm still getting into it, bear with me. You eventually are going to be interacting with an alien life form, and you're going to be interacting with other form of civilizations.
To seek out new life and fuck it. Yeah, the James T. Kirk way.
What's that Eddie Murphy line? If the bitch is green, there's something wrong with the pussy.
When it's Octurian, it don't matter.
What? When it's what?
When it's Octurian, it don't matter.
Yeah. That's amen. Good callback. Deep cut. Love it.
I don't get that.
Aliens. You know what, man? I wouldn't mind getting some more of that Octurian poontang. Yeah, but the one you had was male. It's Octurian. It don't matter.
You guys don't like cornbread either.
But like my point is, like, you are going to be having to interact with it. And I don't want to go down and discuss, D&D and the fantasy variations, because I stand by the very same point I'm about to make. You are going to be interacting with society at one point or another. And if your players decide that, we want to be passive, we don't want to engage with the politics, that's fine. You still get to suffer from whatever consequences that's happening in the world of politics. Trade wars are still a thing in the medieval times.
I knew trade war was going to come into it somehow. Sax is throwing us an idea. At some point, trade and ledgers are going to get involved.
Listen, the wonderful world that Kevin Crawford has introduced to me about being able to have like an entire section between games where I can run major trade guilds and kingdoms and corporations and all of that, all behind the scenes, and have assets such as blockades, union strikes and all these other things taking place and shaping the world, my gremlin mind just goes into an absolute overdrive, slipping in some caffeine and cocaine, and I'm just off. I am hyped because this is such a fun aspect that I just take it and I run and I leave it just for me, because the players doesn't need to see me in this state. They will be concerned. Some of them might be excited to see what happens, but that's neither here nor there.
Clearly.
I have no idea what I could possibly contribute to this, but I'm so enjoying it.
But okay, so Seraphis, let's turn it around to some of the games that you're playing as a artificer. You're eventually going to be bringing things back. There's eventually going to be a common economy where you're going to be needing to have your magical items being produced. Now, either you're going to be going out into the world, finding those resources yourself and bringing them back. However, there's probably going to be the whole case of, not all the wizards are going to be happy that an artificer is generating a metric ton of magic, because they could use that magic elsewhere. And you would then have to interact with that sort of politics, or conversely, you could be entering into an alliance with said wizards and basically going like, well, we can come to an agreement. Even better, if we were to step away from, again, D&D and Pathfinder and maybe into, Final Age, where we've then got, the whole concept of let's bring in, how we then use magic, because we can have, blood magic, we can have pacts, we can have the whole 9 yards, or conversely, we need to stop the slavers from acquiring more slaves so that the enemy's warlocks are not going to be having, all of these wonderful sacks of energy points to generate their magical points. I'm just spitballing here.
That's a good idea. I like that. Keep talking.
OG Dragon Age blood magic, that is.
Exactly. Dragon Age is another wonderful.
Yeah, I got bad news for you. Michael Moorcock was writing that shit long before Dragon Age shat into the world. Video game boy.
Yes, I know, but apparently not everyone's going to get. Everyone's going to get the Ulrich references though. But most of the
good people will. The smart ones will.
I don't get either.
And then there's Brian.
But the whole thing of let's take, again, maybe fantasy, but more again Final Age, because again I'm an absolute shill, try and stop me. The concept of you being able to then say, right, we imagine a society where it is a magetocracy, and the mages can extract out from your blood, depending on your purity and the virtue that you have as an individual, more power.
That was
getting nothing out of me.
That was the first. That was the first D&D movie.
Yeah. I don't know.
Dark Crystal.
Okay. Oh, right. But my point is, now you've got an entire society where the mages are the one who are the ruling class. That's going to be having a different way that your players are going to be interacting with it, and not to mention they are going to be interacting differently with the rest of the world. Look at the Forgotten Realms and the realm of Thay, or the Kingdom of Thay, if you even want to call them that. It's a horrible state who just does terrible things, but they produce so much magical items that people are like, we don't want to go to war to them because they've got really powerful things. Plus, their leader's a lich, and he's got things lined up for them. And their wizards just won't stop making magical items. So that's a good thing, because if we can get their hands on their magical items, great. But they're bad people, and we want to contain them. But as a magetocracy, you then see the mages sort of breaking off and basically going like, hey, we're our own independent state. Or as some of my other players have tried to do. They want to break off from the kingdom entirely and create a tax haven. I blame myself for that. Just purely because they wanted to then either have a castle in the sky or a floating casino in the rivers.
I mean, as an artificer.
So no, my point is the societies that you can then take and generate, again, from a magetocracy, a theology, a feudal system, a democracy, a republic. These are going to be generating different ways you're going to be interacting with them. look at the tribal communities of Germania versus the Italian Republic. Very different ways that if your players are going to be traveling through these various states. I mean, hell, look at Codex Albana and the various different ways that you've got different societies that the players are interacting with.
I appeal. I appreciate your appeal to my ego and arrogance by talking about two of the settings I've created. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're right. You're not wrong. I mean, players need to understand that if you're especially in a fantasy setting, or even a sci-fi setting, not all cultures are the same, not all rules are the same, not all societal norms are the same, and they are certainly not modern.
Yep.
One of the things that really arses me off about modern D&D settings is that they act like it's 2024. You know what I mean? Or 2025. With swords and wizardry and the elven bakery and let's head on over to the troll that works as a waiter at the tavern. It's like, oh my god, Ravnica with their coffee shop bullshit. It's just like, good god, that's not fantasy. That's just fucking cosplay. Go ahead, Sarah. I apologize.
I will say something that will get Ger's ears perked, which is, I feel the same way about BattleTech. It was better when everything was more based on the older medieval feuding and feudalism of the setting, rather than what's kind of coming of it now.
I think it still has it. I think it has it more now, but anyways.
But I am more critical of BattleTech nowadays.
We'll leave that one there.
I had thoughts and they're like running out of my head quicker than I can get them out. So it's fascinating to me watching Saxius, like listening to you talk about it. It's very clear the passion and how your brain like goes into it. And it's what's fascinating is the way brains are different when you're passionate and you're into it, and I'm over here like that's overwhelming. I have nothing like that in my game. My players have played for years just fine without any of that level of detail, and it just goes to show how different groups can be. Because my players would not be interested in anything like that at all. So it just goes to show how different tables and groups can be from each other. And then one thought that comes to mind, and this sort of me just thinking out loud, right, is like, if you have magic, it's the famous line, any form of technology advanced enough is indistinguishable from magic or whatnot. It's like, okay, so we don't like how, and I'm not necessarily defending it. I mean, I kind of agree with Bear, but just I'm spitballing here, is like, if you have the equivalent of vehicles long before vehicles existed in our world, just because you have portals, part of a lot of the culture shifts you see through our world as cultures become less separate from each other, travel becomes easier, faster, cheaper, more available, more cultures interact with each other, more countries are more interacting with each other, involved with each other. Like, is it not possible, at least possible, that you have a sort of phenomenon where you have semi-modernish cultures or concepts in these societies because magic has taken the place of technology and they've lived with it for years? People
Eberron.
Okay. But you
it's pronounced Earthdawn.
It's pronounced Earthdawn.
Wow.
But like, you can have
Max the other night. Sorry, go ahead, Tori.
Well, you can have modern culture. I'm not saying I'm not defending D&D necessarily. I don't like where it went and whatever, but it is at least plausible from a narrative standpoint when you consider the effects, when you consider magic as a supplement for technology.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I was being a bit of a turd, but I was just giving you an example of, yes, here is a setting that has done it, because you do bring up an interesting point. If you have, magic like Tensor's floating disk or teleport or whatever, Why is it that you still get around on horseback?
Well, if you have Conjure Water, then you have a Ravnica coffee shop. I mean,
if you have the House Jarasco, no, House Jarasco's the healers. House Galandra. Yes, Seraphis, back me up here.
Sure.
How dare you?
The
mark of hospitality that allows you to create food and drink and whatnot.
Oh, right.
You have magical cafes.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because absolutely none of that Saxius was talking about is in my game at all, and it never comes up. And for the most part, my players don't really seem to care. But I have players, and I'm referring specifically more to my home game than anything. But those guys are like, we want to pop in, we want to fight some skellies, we want to get a treasure. I want to see my character do something cool, and then that's it. They're not like the game is in this. Yeah.
So everything I've just said, quite passionately, I would just need to clarify that I do it for me. I take passion out of that.
Yeah.
But I'm also the kind of DM where I say I will build the mountain first, and expect only 10% of the mountain to be seen by the players. But the fact I have the remaining 90% prepared, it means that, as the players are going like, oh, let's just scratch a little bit. It's just like, oh, you find this. It's like, what if we scratch more? It's again, like, how deep do they want to go? Because I go into these, absurd details, which then generates, for me to be able to turn around and go like, oh, well, here you go.
But I love it too, because one thing I've learned in recent years is a degree of appreciation for someone's passion for something, even if I'm not passionate about that thing. Like I'm absolutely. Because watching people talk about their passions and how enthusiastic and what they love about it, and going into the nitty gritty about it is kind of really interesting to watch and listen to, because you just hear things and you're like, wow, I never thought of that to that degree, but they're clearly passionate about it, and it's almost infectious, right? Like that kind of passion spreads off onto you a little bit too. So
yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Thank you very much, Seraphis.
I wasn't giving you. Huh?
No, nothing. I'm being facetious.
No, I wasn't giving you the bird. I was giving Fighter the bird. Because I'm getting his little skit right now.
Oh, what did he do? I missed it. What did he do?
He's switching between the characters from his skits.
Oh, okay.
Which are hilarious, by the way. I love the door skit.
Anyway, I want to bring up that this is now starting to get onto the second topic that I had in mind, which, considering I've got 8 more here that the group suggested, and we're probably going to get to this next one. We've got some for a few more weeks. But Saxius and Mr. Fighter came up with a topic that kind of overlaps with each other. Sax, you were mentioning about sci-fi RPGs running inspiration, preferred systems of running them.
Yep.
Game Masters, you mentioned about, in general, RPGs, what inspires us for them. So let's kind of cross-pollinate those two and talk about that, shall we?
Yeah. Brian, would you want to kick off with yours? Because I know I can babble a lot.
I think for me, the inspiration comes from multiple sources. It's not any one thing. From books that I've read, TV shows that I've watched. What's really fun is when I can take something that is non-genre. Let's say I'm doing a fantasy role-playing, right? And I see something that is in, I don't know, Star Wars, and I really like the concept of it. Maybe in Saxius's view of everything, maybe the whole Trade Federation from, the prequel Star Wars. and then being able to take that element and apply it to a fantasy setting. It's really not that difficult of a stretch to do. I mean, instead of having, this third party come in with a bunch of robots or whatever and make a blockade, maybe it's an evil warlock from somewhere else bringing in a bunch of skeletons to make the blockade. But otherwise, you can have the exact same story happen. And I think that's a neat way to pull inspiration into anything. But I get inspiration from movies, books, my own nightmares that I dream up, and from other people that run games, from panels like this, and just getting ideas from how they run their games, and me going, oh, that's actually kind of cool. I'm going to steal that.
Oh, absolutely. And it's, I agree. Sorry?
Art and history.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Video games, movies, books, TV shows, paintings, images, all of it can kind of technically fall under the concept of art in a sense. And then historical references, obviously, we take a lot of inspiration. I mean, a lot of the art that we do as creatures comes from inspiration of our dreams, or aka imagination, and what we see around us, history, this and that and the other thing. So yeah, I think that my style of DMing has 100% skewed towards reskinning. I mean, I just steal everything I want and put whatever skin I want over the top of it. And then boom, there's a game. And that's why my session prep now only takes like 30 minutes. Yeah. And it's actually, my games have improved since I've done that, because I've learned that that's it like using what you're good at, as opposed to trying to force yourself to DM or GM a certain way because that's what you think you should do, versus, well, this is what I naturally tend towards, so just use that,
I mean, I'll give everybody an example. There was a book for D&D 5th edition that came out called Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Yep. It basically was a circus that the players would visit, and that's what kickstarted everything. But I wanted it bigger, more grand, more epic. So I've been to Disney World, I've been to Disneyland multiple times. That was the map that I ended up using. But I also stole like some of the carnival games from just general circuses that I've been to and carnivals that I've been to, but also took a lot of information and inspiration from World of Warcraft's Dark Moon Fair. And there were some fun little games that NPCs could play in that, that you as the player could play in that. And so I just kind of meshed all of that into one gigantic carnival. And the players kind of liked it. So, that's another example of where some inspiration comes from.
100%. There's a reason why when I did the video about how I do my session prep and my DM notes, the very first section is literally just a list of what I'm stealing from. Just a list of other properties, images, literally whatever's floating around in my head, and I call it the basis, because usually when I'll start with that, and then as I'm asking questions like, okay, what games, if I were going to build a carnival, all right, I want a carnival, so I just put carnival in the basis section, and I'll put Witchlight and Warcraft there, and then underneath I'm like, okay, what games are they going to play? And usually as I'm creating it, it might twist a little bit into its own thing. But yeah, reskinning and stealing stuff is, and what's really great about it is if your players get the reference, depending on how vague or not it is, half the time they just laugh and enjoy it. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, that's a reference to such and such. And then it just engages them even more. Or if they don't get the reference, then you look like a creative genius because they have no idea that you stole that from something.
I am only hearing that's a win-win, Tori. Absolutely brilliant.
Hey, I want to point out, so Grumpy Slan states, something wicked this way comes. I've been trying to find this. Does anybody know if it's streaming anywhere?
What?
Disney Plus? The Disney film?
I know it's a Disney film, but I don't think it's on there. I've looked.
Well, you know what? Yarr.
Hold
I'll
on.
get
Yeah.
you a copy.
Yeah.
Brian, go to justwatch.com.
No, don't go there unless you have insanely good anti-malware protection on your computer. Any of those places that stream shit for you online?
No. Justwatch.com it's not a streaming service.
Gotcha.
It tells you where to go.
Yeah, you just go in, you just type in the movie, and it's it'll list like, oh, you can watch it for free here, or you can rent it here, or you can buy it here.
Yeah.
Brian,
No, Grumpy, I agree. The book is
just sent you a
10
link in the
times
group
better,
chat.
but I want to expose the kids to the movie itself because I thought the movie was fun. But anyway, sorry for the sidetrack, guys.
That's okay. I sent you a link in the Discord, Brian.
Understand. I see it. Yeah.
Fighter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Bear, what inspires you
In sunshine.
when creating
cloudy,
your
rainy
game
days,
worlds?
puppy dogs, thunderstorms. I find thunderstorms very inspirational. In what regard, sir?
When you come up with creating your game worlds, etc., like what inspirations do you take from?
The real world. History. It's all there. You don't. It saves you a lot of work because it's already written down. You just got to adapt it, erase some things, add some names, and away you go. Get interesting. Take an Egyptian view of mythology and combine it with Celtic ancestor worship and get a whole new pantheon out of it that people don't recognize. Things like that. You just you mix and match.
That's literally my DNA.
That's your DNA. I thought you were Australian.
Yeah, but both my grandparents on both sides, one's Celtic, the other's Egyptian.
Oh, there you go. So glad I could be part of that for you.
No, I agree that history is a fantastic source to just pull things from. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of art is based off that, anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's also some of the things that you will find in history are going. I mean, the wonderful thing about when it's fiction versus history. Within fiction, you've got to adhere to certain rules and regulations to make sure that it's all making sense. History will just go nah. There's going to be some people that's done things that you will just sit and go like, how?
Habsburgs.
The Habsburgs. There was a Chinese general who decided that I'm gonna have that's an army that's approaching my castle. I'm just gonna throw open the doors, sit and play a piece of music, and the entire attacking army just went like, no, that's a trap. That's a gigantic trap. No, run away, everyone, run away. We've played into his hand. Hundreds of thousands of men just running away because one man decided to open the door and play his violin. It's like,
wasn't that Japanese?
I would not be surprised if they've done it as well. I know there was a Chinese case where that happened.
Okay.
But then, again,
I might be thinking of the thing just in the wrong context. It's all right.
It's fair enough. Go on.
The How to Be a Great GM, his new channel, one of his new channels, is basically that, isn't it? He's going around to historical places and looking around them and kind of blending learning about history with here's inspiration for your game. Like, isn't his one channel completely dedicated to that concept?
Don't watch his channel.
You can't say that I know, but it makes sense, especially since I like to draw from my Scandinavian heritage and the fact that I grew up in a specific part of Denmark where I can look over and see Sweden on the other side of the little channel and go, darn Swedes, give us back Skåne. It belongs to us. We've had it for hundreds of years, but give it back.
Yeah, I think that's it. I just remember because a whole bunch of D&D, he made the announcement video, and then for like the next 48 hours, every D&D channel and its dog had to cover like, is D&D YouTube dying? Because riding the wave and all that of the algorithm, and it's like, I saw probably 5 or 6 videos where I didn't finish the video, but I saw the start, and I saw so many that were like, oh, How to Be a Great GM. He's one of the OGs. He's quit. Guys, he specifically said he's not quitting. He's just making 2 more different channels. That's all. Like, he never said he was like quitting.
Yeah, he was just retiring that main channel.
Yeah, that's it. But like, it became the topic of conversation for a while.
No, but the bigger topic was more about how he said that he went to YouTube
headquarters and they told him that we're going to kill your channel now because we don't like you.
I still don't believe that happened.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But guys,
the one half does the other.
Correct us.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it could happen, but if so, who cares? Question. Are you surprised?
I don't know. I don't know about what his specific case is. I believe it's just a case of we're just seeing a trend of the average engagement is going down for D&D channels. Ergo, some people are believing that channels are being shut down when in reaction it's just that the engagement is dropping.
Or maybe they just keep talking about the same shit over and over again that no one gives a crap.
See, I would classify my channel as being a D&D channel, and since he put that video out, I swear to you, I have seen nothing but solid growth. I haven't seen people leaving my channel. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But see, I'm not doing this for the views. I'm not doing this for the monetary monetization of it. I'm not doing this for anybody else other than my own pure entertainment. And if people out there like it, great. If they don't, I don't care. Like my latest video that I did has got, let me update. Slow ass computer. Sorry. My latest video has 224 views. You know, I could cry all day long. Oh my God, my channel's dying because it only had 220 views. I don't give a shit. I'm doing it because I enjoy making the video.
That's more views than my biggest video has had.
I've had a couple that are in the thousands, but that's just weird to me. The ones that have, because they don't. It's like, really, that's the one, you know, that got that much attention. Okay,
yeah.
Well, all right, you know.
I remember a really mind-bending moment when, because I've only had one video that was significant in any way, and it got 8,000 views. And I remember, and that was during the DC20 Kickstarter. That's the whole reason why my entire viewer base is all DC20 folks now, is because of that one video. But not complaining, just that's what it is. But that was in the summer, so I went to a baseball game after that in a brand new stadium that was built, but it's not like major league, it's like minor league or whatever. It's teeny tiny little stadium, but you know, when you don't have anything like that, it's huge to your town, right? And I went there and I looked around and I saw something about the capacity, like the seating capacity, and it was like I can't remember if it was 10,000 or it was a little under that. It may have been a little under that. But basically, the seating capacity of that stadium was the same as the views on my channel, or within 100 or so. Yeah. And I remember sitting in that stadium looking around like, dear God, if you think about views in terms of people, which I know it's not an exact ratio. Most of them click for 2 seconds and leave. But still, just if you look at I looked around at the stadium and I was like, that many people potentially saw that video. It totally is a mind-bending, you know, when it's just numbers on a screen, it's easier to forget the significance of that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not trying to brag up at all. The 2 highest viewed videos on my channel are Why I Love the D6 System with 16,500 views, and D6 The Basics Fast and Dirty with 9,200 views. I don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next, you know, and then the next highest is like a BX video that got 5,000, a bunch of D&D stuff, you know, it's in the thousands, and that's it. Everything else, anything superhero related, you know, one RPG talk about superheroes got 1,200. The rest of it, they couldn't give a flying fuck about superheroes. But what do? I do mostly material about superheroes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're doing it to chase views, and not saying any of you are, but if you're doing it to chase views, engagement, subscription, all that kind of stuff, you are in a fool's errand of chasing algorithms, trends, and what have you. If you do it because, like Brian and I, or Game Masters and I, and I'm sure Gur as well below, and maybe Sarah, and hopefully you as well, Tori, said, Stax just needs to make his channel happen more often. Do it for fun. Do it because you love it. Do it because you care about it. Otherwise, you're going to be in an endless loop of trying to figure it out. Brian, how many times have we talked with Max Liao about how he wants to try and find, well, what could I do differently to attract more attention to my channel? Like, that conversation will never end because the mood is always changing. The algorithm is always changing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So it's just a fool's errand.
Well, I mean, that's... Sorry, go ahead, Tori.
Oh, so sorry. Case in point, if I cared about the production or the or whatever with my channel, I would not do video game streams and then the DC-20 stick figure videos and then occasional stitching videos. I would separate all those into 3 different channels. But the matter of fact is I don't care. And those are my 3 hobbies. And those are the things that I'm going to share. And the people that stick around. And the people that stick around and actually are in the chat regularly are like the people worth having. You know what I mean? Kind of like quality over quantity, right?
Agreed. No, you're 100% right. When I restarted the channel, I was focusing on the new Marvel Multiverse RPG, which is right there somewhere. Up there. The blues. That's it right there. And I was getting 1,900, 2,000, in the live stuff, I was getting 1,900, 1,100 views of any of the live stuff I did about it, right? Then they released the final Game Pass playtest, and I hated it, and I was not a fan. I preferred the playtest edition to the final edition. So I moved on to other topics.
And that's how you and I actually met.
Yeah. And that community didn't stick around. Most of them effed off to other people because I wasn't doing that game that they loved or that they were really interested in. Okay.
Speaking of that game that we really loved and you don't do anymore, you know that those Star Trek games you used to do?
I still do a Star Trek game every second Thursday.
Yeah, but like...
Yeah, but words, girl. Words. Make some words. Let's go.
Okay, so
he wants the Sojourner back.
Well, you can't have the Sojourner back for a number of reasons. One, the group is done. It's not coming back together. 2, I will never play Star Trek Adventures again because of 2 reasons, which one I will go into at great length and one that I won't. And 3, why not come check out Ultimate Star Trek? It's just as much fun. And hey, your favorite friend, Jeb Taylor, Dr. I don't care, I'm dressed like Colonel Sanders, is at that game. Or are you just saying you want him back?
No. It's more I loved that kind of connection that, you've got. What was that? Hopefully I'm not confusing my 2 groups, but it was the what was that? Mage's Musings, Cody.
It's the Sojourner game, yeah.
Yeah. It was that group dynamic that was a lot of fun. It kept
if you want to see that group dynamic, on the 24th, we have a heroic campaign starting where they're all playing superheroes.
Okay.
Mage's Musings, Cody, Gur down here, and Janet from Another Planet. And I think Jason's playing with us, isn't he?
I think so.
To make groups.
Yeah, I think you got Jason in. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, real quick, as far as Star Trek Adventures, I meant to say this the other day. When I was in Vegas, we went into a local game shop and they were clearing out a bunch of RPG stuff, and they had the new Star Trek Adventures books at half off. And because of that conversation with the designers, I couldn't even be arsed to pick it up at half off.
I'm telling you, right? Like, nothing did more damage to us and their brand than how they treated us on that episode of 4 Color Cafe.
Wait, what?
So we had a couple of the guys from the Star Trek Modifius group on a 4 Color Cafe, and they were okay guests. They weren't the best guests we ever had up until that point in time, but they were fine enough. But then we got to the point where we're like, hey, is there any, secrets or announcements coming up or stuff you'd like to, hey, you got an audience here that's watching. Is there anything you'd like to tell us? And they were like, oh, no, there's nothing. We can't say anything. And then 3 days later, they start making announcements. And we're like, wow, way to just slap us in the fucking face while you're in
I think it was within 24 hours. But regardless,
right. It was super fast. It was like they couldn't even say like, we can't say anything specific.
But pay attention to our channel for the next couple of days. There's stuff coming,
Right, but on Tuesday, you want to be paying attention on Tuesday. They didn't even bother doing that. It was like they were really dismissive of us. It was not fun.
So it wasn't just that. It was also because Bear said they were okay guests, but they weren't the best guests. But then you said that they were real dismissive of you. And then please, I'm going to ask you a question. Please forgive my ignorance here, okay? My naivete. But why is that considered rude or a problem? That specifically the end bit there about them not saying
dismissive?
No, not the dismissive part. Specifically the story that was mentioned about they didn't announce anything and then they announced
that was just part of the dismissiveness.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was just the overall way in which they were treating us like we were nothing.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't just that one bit. It was just like the whole interaction as a whole.
Yeah, never meet your heroes.
We're giving you a captive audience of a couple thousand people.
They weren't heroes, but
Sorry, what?
They weren't. Brian said, "Never meet your heroes." I'm like, they were not heroes.
God, no.
Okay. There. That was the bit of that was what I was trying to understand. So sorry, I had to ask because I was trying to understand.
It comes down to a matter of respect. Be respectful of the people who have you in their home, and our YouTube channels are our home. I might bust people's balls, and that's the Gen X thing. Is I like you, so I'm gonna make fun of you, right? But at the end of the day, I have nothing but respect for Sarah. If Brian were to ever have me on his show, I'd have nothing but respect for him. I have been on Game Masters, and I've been respectful to him while I'm there because it's his house. You be respectful when you're in their home. What you don't do is act like you're better than them, or act like they're beneath you somehow, and you're doing some great service to them by showing up. We got exactly no new subscribers from them being there. Whereas when we had Larry Elmore on, we got a surge of subscribers. When we had Tim Kask on, we had a surge of subscribers.
Kask! Oh my god,
I loved him. Oh my god, I still want him to be my grumpy dad, like just the best.
As soon as that episode finished, Grim was like, "What was his channel name again?"
Yeah,
did instantly subscribed. It was like
Curmudgeon in the basement.
Yeah.
Or in the cellar, Curmudgeon in the cellar.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? You got to be respectful of people who are having you in their fucking environment to promote your livelihood.
Right.
But these guys are so used to dealing with, Paramount on the weekly and getting access to, inside Star Trek stuff that their heads. I spent over 20 years in the film industry. I can smell that. Someone whose head is expanding because they have access, like you can smell it. It's like, ooh, it's not nice. You go on any set in the world.
Ironically, modern Star Trek sucks ass.
And that's the worst part. And then one of them, I was doing a thing talking about Star Trek and shitting on modern Star Trek and talking about the Star Trek apologists, who are the people who love modern Star Trek and tell all of us old school fans we don't know what we're talking about. We're gatekeepers. And one of them showed up in the chat and was being super aggressive and like just fucking a dick about it, and like being like, attacking me. And I was just like, what? We're fucking done, dude. We're done. You're blocked. Get the fuck out. Like grow up. People are allowed to have different opinions than you, and you don't have to fucking turn it into an event when they do. You can just leave it as it is, which is people have different opinions than you. And that's one of the other things I don't like. Go ahead, sorry.
And I will say that's part of the reason why not only do I do my channel the way I do it, but do these streams the way I do it, because I am trying to do things in my Australian way, because too much of YouTube, too much of the conversation on any kind of social media platform is very Americanized. I have to be careful about what I fucking say. I have to be careful about, wording things, because apparently and I'm sorry, I really hate this kind of Americanized language, but fucking snowflakes can get upset about, I made a suicide joke. Oh no, boo fucking who. I've tried to commit suicide 3 times. Fuck off. Like, this is how we.
Well, you obviously
grown-ups.
are a failure, sir, if you've had to try 3 times. Get good, scrub. But that's the thing. We can laugh about that. We can make a joke about that and laugh about that. Whereas if someone were to see us having that, go, oh, I can't believe you said that. My pearls, where's my fainting couch? Like, get the fuck over yourselves.
Aren't there snowflakes in different cultures though?
Yep.
Like, yeah. So
yeah, we call them. We
Do
call
you
them people
understand
from
that you
Sydney.
guys have a media
call them
voice
people
that is
from
significantly louder than the rest of
sure.
all of us combined? If you take Canada, Australia, and the UK, and you combine us as an English-speaking media source, we are still dwarfed by you. You guys are the sun, and we are Pluto by comparison together.
So 2 things. One, that was a very nice red dragon. I loved the red dragon. That was very pretty. I have a fondness for dragons. And then second of all, like quite a bit ago, or a fair bit ago, Brian was going to say something, and then I started, and then he let me talk. But I'm still curious what Brian was going to try to say. What Game Masters was going. What Game Masters was.
I don't.
He was going.
Yeah. Give me the context. I kind of forgot.
I just remember going like, oh, I wanted to hear what Game Masters had to say, and it was before we talked about Star Trek. It was right before they talked about the 4-Color Cafe.
Oh, so
story.
Views and channels. We were talking about views and channels and building an audience and all that stuff at the time.
It must not have been important. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
It was going to be a snark, wasn't it, Brian? Admit it.
No. I mean, if I've been kind of toning the snark down on this today, so.
Aw, I come for the snark. I stay for the Sarrow, but I come for the snark.
Actually, I will. I do want to bring up one other thing about the Modiphius Star Trek guys. One of the fact that one of the guys was so proud of the fact that he was a diversity hire.
I remember that.
Oh, that hurt.
That
hurt so much.
Not just, man, I really put a lot of work in. I'm glad they recognize that I made good material. It's like, no, I'm a minority, so they hired me. Okay.
Absolute nonsense.
Oh, the whole thing was nuts.
I think one of my definitely a top, if not my favorite, kind of joke on the snowflake / keyboard warriors is the fat electrician version where he puts on the helmet, grabs the keyboard, and he goes, bah! He does it's just
that took me so long to realize that was the keyboard warrior, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I feel so dumb right now for not noticing it.
It's because language changes or they whatever. Anyways, keyboard warrior was the term for so long, but then it kind of stopped getting used. Maybe it's because people type on their phones now more. I don't know, but I feel like keyboard warrior is actually kind of a slightly older term. But anyways, I love the
As an aside.
As
an aside. How in the hell do people have successful YouTube channels using only their phone to to film their videos, edit their videos, and upload their stuff? How does that work?
Beyond my fucking world.
They are way more patient than I. That's how.
I can't figure it out.
I was
gotta
to say
have
there's
a beefy computer.
Remember in God, was it when the iPhone 4 launched? They put iMovie on the freaking phone.
Yep.
So
yeah,
and here's
no,
the thing.
I get it. I mean, I can get all kinds of editing software on this phone too. I just don't have the patience to pinch zoom in, and I need more precise. I need big screen. I mean, this is my current setup. I have,
2 monitors.
Actually, fun fact, my miniature showcase videos, that's all done on my phone. But I ain't doing anything with it. It's like record.
Yeah, when
text,
I first
upload.
Yeah, when I first started doing YouTube way back when my old channel, before I got ratioed into oblivion for daring to not fucking kiss the ass of Critical Role, and have an opinion about it, I used to do everything on my iPhone 5 using iMovie, and it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. It was a little bit of a pain in the ass sometimes, but overall it was pretty okay. I tried to use iMovie on my Mac, and I wanted to fucking punch the computer. It was so fucking tedious. It was like, why can't you just anchor this fucking image at this point in the time roll? Why do you got to keep moving shit? What the fuck is wrong with you? So now I'm going to learn Filmora. When Zane gets back from GaryCon, he's going to teach me how to use Filmora, and I'm going to use that.
That's what I use. I think it's very good price. I pay for an annual. I also bought the assets package, which is like another $50 a year or something.
Okay.
So if you ever need any questions about it, feel free to ask. Reach out to me. I can answer. I've been using it for 3 years or so now.
Okay.
That's editing software. Filmora, it's called.
Filmora.
Wondershare Filmora. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a very decent. I'm looking forward to remaking a couple of videos of like the Be Heroic title video with all the superhero images. I'm looking forward to remaking that where I have control over it for a fucking change, as opposed to, all right, iMovie, what are you gonna do? Let's see how this works out. Let's see if we get lucky. Like fuck that.
I use DaVinci Resolve now. Have you tried that?
Must be nice.
I use Shotcut.
It's free.
You use Shortcut?
Shotcut.
Shotcut.
It is a free movie editing program you can get your hands on from one of the many open sourced products.
Y'all keep talking about this editing thing. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I use Microsoft Clipchamp. It was on.
It works.
Actually, my ADHD builds shorts. I do use Clipchamp for that because I want them to be shorts, and so I need them go. Well,
that's the neat thing. So I don't know if any of y'all have seen last year I did the monster of the day. This year I'm doing the adventure idea of the day. All of that is done. Filmora has this neat thing where it's like throw your video in, click a button, set a couple of settings, and it does automatically adds the text in there, makes it, compresses it so that it's a short, in the
portrait.
Yeah, not in this
landscape.
Portrait, not landscape.
Portrait.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Landscape, portrait. Second word sounds like
right. You got it. And then I upload it, and it's awesome. It just makes it real fast, real quick. I'm sure there's other software suites out there that can do something similar, but it just works for me.
Huh. I was playing around with a web-based thing where I just upload the YouTube video, and it then goes, right, out of this movie or this video, you can get 6 or 12 shots or shorts made, and I'll make the titles, the SEOs for you, and you can download them all and then get them re-uploaded to your channel. So it's all done within like a day. Played around with it. I was like, okay, cool. I have no idea why I would be doing shorts, because if I'm going to be making videos, I think I'm just going to be going long form because that's what I like to listen to.
Yeah.
Have someone that rambles on for about an hour, 45 minutes, and I can just sit and listen to whatever's going on, or put it on a quicker pace and just absorb the information.
So, can I recommend? Sorry, go. Can I recommend something quickly, Sax?
Sure.
When you do your next long form video, or just any video where you're going to be over 10 minutes, and you think it's going to be mostly something that people are going to listen to, for those of us who watch the video, can you throw some funny things in there for us?
Sure.
Because I watch your videos.
That's fair enough. I mean, mind you, I am quite visual with what I do because I've got spreadsheets and things and other things that's lined out. Man, that's just
so real quick, Zach.
Off topic.
the shorts for me, I'm not trying to be a shorts channel. It's literally it's essentially just advertising. Because like the shorts feed pushes into different accounts differently. And when I don't do shorts, I'll still gain subscribers, but it's at a much lower rate. But with shorts, I'm getting at least 1 or 2 new subscribers a day. You know, early on, you really do need the subscribers. So, you know, that's why. But it's like I want to do some shorts based on role-playing content, based on, you know, board game content, things like that. I just haven't figured that out yet, how to do that for me. So
no, that's fair.
Yeah,
makes perfect sense. I think. I mean, again, I think I need to get things back up and running. I need to get my computer fixed so I can actually start doing some of these things. But just make it. I might just make long forms and then just take that, make the shorts, and then chuck them out and be like, "Here you go."
Mm-hmm.
But I'm doing this for me because I think that my methodology appeals to a very niche group of people, but I'm not finding people of similar odd mindsets. So I'm just going to throw my way of thinking out there and be like, hey, if you like what I do, here's how I do it. Here's the tools that I use. Here's where I steal my things from.
Well, and another way you can do it is, you know, do the long form video, but if you know a little chunk that you think, hey, this is a nice little 1 minute segment, cut that out, upload that as a short, and then just say, hey, if you want to watch the rest, click here, because the short lets you actually reference a related video.
Yeah,
and that's the neat thing about Filmora is you can take a 10-minute long video, put it in that automatic short clip, and it will generate 15 different shorts from that 10-minute clip, and you can go through and edit a little bit if you want to. But if you find something that's like a self-contained little thought, edit that, render it down to a short video, and then upload it. And then, like what Gur was saying, you can then reference your long form. So that's how I use the shorts, as kind of more of a advertisement or commercial, if you will, to funnel folks back to the main core channel.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Even though I said it? No, I'm just kidding.
I feel like I feel strange because I use DaVinci, and I'm like, am I doing things the hard way? Because I don't have. Let's see, I can do. Oh, I turned my keyboard off because I'm a cat. So if I do, Grandmasters, you showed your setup. Let's see. So like, okay, so there's that, like, I have the, the timeline type thing down there. And I used to, with the stick figures, ow, that was in my headphones. I used to hand by hand put each individual stick figure on here on the timeline, like one picture at a time, all the way across the whole video, which was why it took so long. And now I just use Google Slides, and it, I can just, and then I have my other monitor actually in portrait mode. But now I use Google Slides, and I do a screen recording of me going through the Google Slides, manually clicking to change it to the next stick figure, because organizing them on the slide on the screen is so much faster. Now I can make videos in like minutes instead of days, which is really nice.
Buy the book.
I don't edit videos. Clearly, that's evident by my channel if you pay any attention to it. Therefore, I am not having a comment on this, other than once I have a greater understanding of Filmora, I'm going to start doing edited videos to just have stuff. Like the first one I'm doing is, I've already written the script for it, is basically Invincible is the greatest Bronze Age hero, and you didn't realize it. And it's all explaining how, despite all the gore and the violence and everything you see in Invincible in the comics and in the show, if you look at the character himself, he is the epitome of Bronze Age.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I've started working on a VTuber avatar.
Have you?
Well done.
Yes.
Is it going to look like Vegas Snape?
Vegas Snape.
Okay, so this is a Gen X thing that you might have missed, Brian, because of your cloistered upbringing. But there's the old joke of Elvis, which is there's Elvis and then there's Vegas Elvis, right? So young Elvis, super trim, hot, plays guitar, women fucking lose their minds. Then there's Vegas Elvis, jumpsuit, pudgy, kind of letting himself go. So one of the first burns I ever gave Sarah was for his blonde hair. It was like, wow, you look like not Snape, but Malfoy, the Vegas years.
Malfoy, the Vegas years. I approve.
As you can tell, I know nothing of Harry Potter. I'm just like Snape, Malfoy, whatever. The assholes, whatever.
I defer to my wife for insights to Harry Potter.
I did read all of the books growing up, and again a couple of years ago, and watched the movies from time to time.
Well, then, Tori, you're the expert, so you tell us: am I Malfoy?
You do look like him, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like the Kirkland brand Malfoy.
Kirkland brand Malfoy.
Jesus Christ, Tori. Coming out here
non-union Mexican Malfoy. There we go.
Non-union Mexican Malfoy.
That's from The Simpsons. I wanted to get Steven Spielberg. We couldn't get him, but we got Mexican non-union Spielberg. Senor Spielbergo.
Harry Potter. That's a good one, Grumpy. That's a good one.
Tori Winslow. Kirkland Malfoy was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy 10 of those.
It's just what came.
For a dollar?
I'm not always funny, but whenever I am, it's always by accident.
That's the best kind, though.
I mean, it.
If it makes you feel better, Tori, Kim is the same way. When she tries to be funny, it's just like, oh dear, that's no.
Yeah.
When she's not trying, dear Lord, that woman is hilarious.
How it happens.
Grim is the same way. It's okay.
Oh, good. It's like I didn't mean. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just that's what came to mind because
I'm sensing a trend.
Good. It was well done, but I think this goes down to men in general do not find women funny when they try to be funny, but women can be insanely hilarious when they just say things and not put thought into it. You know what I mean?
When it just comes out, yeah.
Yeah, it was just you're like, oh fuck. So harsh but good.
I was gonna say some of the most like oh dear things I've ever heard have come from my wife.
I believe it. But I also believe that's a byproduct of having lived with you. You know, she's just like, it's a survival mechanism.
It's a survival mechanism.
I could put bleach in his coffee or say this.
I still love the what was it? I think one of the first streams of yours that I ever was on was watching with Gur on as well, and the pots and pans were playing in the background, and Bear, you were like, Kim, clang twice if you need help.
Yes, clang twice if you need rescue. Yeah.
I think I remember that.
And then there was the day we got Kim to actually come on the show. That was the great one.
Really?
Kim actually talked.
No. I think it was it on the show. I thought that was just in the backstage.
Kim came and talked while you sat.
Oh no, it was a Sunday morning.
There we go.
That's right. It was one of your Sunday morning, just like coffee with Bear.
Yeah.
I still don't know what she said.
Sucks to be you.
No, it's fine. I know you all were busting my balls pretty much, but you know, it's all good.
As I said to you on the after show Friday, Brian, if I'm taking the time to talk to you like this, if I'm taking the time to hang out with you like this, if I'm taking the time to invite you to come hang out with me when I do something, that means I see you as a friend. And what people
everyone makes mistakes.
Well, yeah, exactly, and and that's okay too. But the difference is for me, and a lot of people don't understand this about me, is that I am not close with my family. We are scattered to the four winds. My mother kept us all together, and when she died, we you know, like it was the end of the family unit for us. I am very close to my extended family, my chosen family. The people that I call friends are the people that are my family. They're the people I will, you know, fight fire for. They're the people I will jump in front of a train to protect. Doesn't mean I'm going to be super nice and kiss your ass all the time. I'm still going to be me and say mean things and get into arguments and what have you. But the fact that I'm taking the time to invest emotionally in you is the indication of how much I care. People I don't care about only get one of two emotions from me: absolute indifference, or fuck you, let's see what your teeth look like coming out of your asshole. You know, but that's just who I am. Even this fucking cunt beside me here,
there we go,
annoys the living shit out of me, but I see him as a friend.
It wouldn't be Talkin Drek without that word coming up at least
I'm
once.
surprised Seraphis didn't drop it first.
Well, I was intending to put this banner in, but you know.
Wombat Stealer is a cunt. Okay, you want to laugh? I have a friend of mine who's Scottish. Back in the 90s when we were in Vancouver, and he would drop cunt like it was like his favorite word in the universe. But he'd do that cunt, you know, that sound, cunt, that's a cunt. And I was working in a video store, an adult video store. And the other word he would say was hoons. He'd always say hoons, you know, like, I'll release the fucking hoons on you, you cunt. You know, and we were just like, okay, thanks, Steve. That's awesome. Great. And then one day I'm unpacking the new Arrival videos and I pull out a box for a porn called Cunt Hounds. And I immediately call him and I'm like, you have to come to the store tonight during my shift. I have to show you something brilliant. And he was like, oh, that's brilliant. I need to buy that. He didn't even care what it was about. He just wanted to have that in his house, you know? So, and I think it's funny. Canadians were 50-50 on the word. Really? Beans? Okay, thanks. We're 50-50 on the word. Some of us find it highly offensive, but some of us don't give a fuck. But Scots and Aussies, that word's like the way we say fuck. You know what I mean? Like, you guys love that word. What is that about? Why?
Because we've invalidated it. So
because
it's
what?
funny. We've invalidated it, so it's funny.
You used a word before. It's funny. Invalidated.
Invalidated.
Oh, invalidate. I'm sorry. Speak English, please.
Yeah. That's why I kind of I keep things, or I try to keep things fairly like kind of PG on my channel, right? But at the same time, I don't get offended when people use words because they're only offensive if you get offended by them. It's just a word to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why people take it so seriously sometimes.
Oh, I agree on like the majority, but just don't call me a Swede.
Well, yeah, but that's different. You know, that's like calling you American. You know, but the thing is like for Gen Xers, we seem to really, really subscribe to the theory of you're offended by something I said. That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
Bye, Saxius.
Pretty much.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, Sax. Good to see you, man.
Oh,
likewise.
Now we have to behave.
See you on the next go around.
Who said behave, you pricks? I don't want to behave. I want to cause a rebellion.
Speaking of, there's things going on in the kitchen, so I'm going to go ahead and go and see what's up for breakfast.
Well, have fun. See you on the next go around.
I'm sorry. I'm hungry. I want food. I've been up for like 4 hours.
Well, who's
4 hours? That's cute.
Yeah.
Huh?
You couldn't have gone and eaten?
Well, I was listening to you guys and talking with you guys.
Don't blame us for your inability to feed yourself, lady. That's not fair.
Also, I don't...
I've already been up all day.
Oh.
I've been up all night. I should have gone to sleep at some point.
What did you eat, Sarah?
I had a jelly snake, 2 Tim Tams, and some burger rings.
What the fuck's a jelly snake? I know what Tim Tams are. And what was the last thing?
Gummy worms.
Yeah, sorry. That's right. Gummy worms. We call them snakes.
Snakes? Gummy snakes?
Yes.
Oh,
No,
okay.
jelly snakes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hang out with the cat.
What was the... Oh, burger rings. I don't know.
What's a burger ring?
Is it like an onion ring?
Lay down. Beans, find your happy spot.
Okay, well, these are Tim Tams.
Yes, they're wonderful.
Family pack.
It's just like oh shit, what are they?
Funyuns.
Funyuns, yeah, they're Funyuns, but let me guess, they're like burger flavored or something.
Was there?
I don't know what Funyuns are.
You know how many carbs are in that?
I was gonna say, did you eat any like real food?
60 grams per 100 grams, and this is a 220 gram packet.
60 per 100.
Las Vegas.
As I said, all of them.
My blood sugar, my diabetes just shot up for you.
Right?
To be fair.
So let's see. I ate an entire rotisserie chicken yesterday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
3 egg omelet, ham, peppers, pepper jack cheese.
Yesterday?
What? It was cheap.
They are cheap. What are you going to have, Tori? What's your breakfast?
Probably eggs again, I would imagine.
I'm not feeling very creative. Chicken.
Eggs.
Somebody's a millionaire.
They're not. They went down in price, so not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, mine are free because my friends got chickens.
And we didn't have a chicken flu outbreak culling in our country, so our eggs are still not cheap, but not insane like you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, and in order for us to get the eggs from your country, we have to pay like, what, 50% higher now? Well, I don't know what the fuck is going on there.
What the fuck's going on. My advice is just write it out. Sorry, what?
Our egg prices started going up because those fucking idiots in New South Wales started seeing what was going on in America and started panic buying eggs. So they've fucked up the prices over here. Because
there is nothing Australians like more than panic buying. Like, I literally just watched Bering and his wife talking about it during their fucking that tropical storm that hit the Gold Coast.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Hey, we are at the store, and it's just like the shelves are empty because there's nothing Australians like more than panic buying." It's just like, fuck.
No, it's mainly the East Coast though, because when the lockdowns happened over here during COVID, huh?
There's like 10 people on the west coast of Australia.
I'm talking about the central and the west, right?
Okay.
When the lockdowns happen. Oh, hi, Tori.
Wow, she pulled a regular DM.
You did kind of, kidnap her here. She's like, I'm going to go get food. Oh, what are you eating, Tori? What about this? What about that?
Listen, I made my effort, and I'm proud of it. So
I'm just saying. She was probably like, I'm starving now.
When COVID happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idiots on the East Coast started following America's example and started panic buying toilet paper and shit like that, right? Then they started coming over here to the central states and started trying to buy stuff to take back there. We produce toilet paper. There was no need to worry that there would be a shortage because we make it here in Australia. They panicked over nothing because they're fucking retarded.
We just use washcloths.
Yeah, or, wash your ass. There's another idea. Like, all my friends were freaking out about fucking toilet paper. Okay, Beans, I love you, but this is weird. And I'm just like, or just, have your morning shit and then take a shower. You know what I mean? Like, it just works out wonderfully and you don't have to fucking contribute to the goddamn... Where I grew up in Eastern Canada, we had these beautiful, what they call a barochois, which is like a marshland, but right beside it was the sewage exhale pipe for the town. And the amount of unfucking, like, raw toilet paper that you would see collecting in that swamp as a result was so disgusting. The only reason I buy toilet paper is for my friends, I'm regular. I poop twice a day. I have 2 showers a day. Hey, life's good. You know what I mean? And I don't have to fucking worry about it. So I can buy like an 8-pack of toilet paper and it'll last me 6 months, a year, I never got the idea of rubbing paper along your ass crack. I'll never understand that fucking concept. I'm like, who thought of this? Or what do you guys call them in the States? Shit tickets? That's a lovely fucking term.
Not heard that term.
Well, so do you
You've never heard the term shit tickets?
Nope.
We are not the same, sir.
Obviously. No.
All right.
My point is that people sit around bitching about saving the environment and then flush everything they can down the goddamn loo. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, maybe that doesn't vanish once it goes. It doesn't disappear into a magic hole, you know? Like, it sticks around.
I mean, if you only use the toilet, I mean, if the toilet paper is only there for your friends, is it tissue paper or socks or washcloths?
What, in the shower? Or you mean for my friends? You go to your toilet paper? There's some socks in the bin. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, never mind. Not important.
I don't get the joke. Sorry, Brian. You have to explain it, or I don't know.
Self-need has to go somewhere.
I take a shower after I have my morning poop. I take a shower after I have my evening poop.
Kurt gets it.
I don't get the joke. I don't understand. I'm not your kind of autistic. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
I think it must be an American thing because I'm not getting it either.
Yeah, it must be an American thing because I'm just like,
you guys are like 2 words. 2 words is all you have to know.
And they are?
Did you not pay attention to Brian? Like the first 2 words.
Self-care.
No.
Oh, he's talking about wanking. He's talking about wanking. He's talking about wanking. Jesus Christ. And that's the other problem with your country. Everything's about your dicks. What the fuck?
And on that note, why don't you guys tell me who you are and what your channels are, and we'll sign out of here.
I'm a meat popsicle, and I want nothing to do with this, and I refuse to be associated with this any further. Thank you. I am in no way associated with this show. Beargenix GM, you can find me on YouTube. Please don't leave me alone. Stay away. But beyond that, yeah, go subscribe to all these guys. They're fun. Except for regular DM. He has enough subscribers. He keeps slumming with us poor less than 5,000 subscribers now with his 15K.
15K. Nice, Brian.
Good. What you got going?
Gaming with ADHD. I'm just a hot mess because I keep working, but you know. Anyways, I'll put up more videos. I'll do more streams, so it's all tabletop related. So just come hang out. That's all.
And starting on the 24th, every second Monday, you're going to get to see him playing Heroic with some friends. It'll be fun.
I mean, it'll be a thing.
He was the best part of the Star Trek game, other than Cody's Southern Gentleman Doctor.
What was what role did you play?
I was the engineer.
Chuck.
Oh god, every goddamn game I was in chat trying to help you with freaking Treknobabble. My god, man.
I think
I did pretty darn good at the Treknobabble.
I gave him the simplest chart possible to roll on. Would have been no. He had to go get this mega complex D100 chart that he was really happy with. So you know what? God bless him. He did.
It's just a random generator. Just hit the button and it comes up. And
even better. There we go.
Right. Yeah. No, but that's the thing is I just made a list. And so then if I hadn't used one yet, I just, I'm like, I need something that sounds like this. That one. It was great. I loved it.
Okay, and biggest channel here. What do you got?
The induction circuit on the transflux capacitor. What?
Yup.
Where's the DeLorean? What?
Okay,
And now
biggest
your
channel
turn,
here.
Game
What are you doing?
Masters.
Nothing.
We are the worst at shilling, all of us.
Okay, well, a decent amount of money. I can't actually put a price on it because right now I'm currently broke because 2 days from now is actually payday. So, however, I probably bet that when I wake up in the morning, there's probably going to be another skit video of your characters.
I've got two that I'm working on. I filmed them last night. I got to edit it today. Those skits actually will drop every Friday, but because you're a subscriber, you'll get to see it when you wake up.
Yay! And are you planning on any streams or anything like that?
I'm paying for a streaming service, but I don't have any plans. I need to get better about doing that.
Yes. And look, I behave myself when I'm on your stream.
No, it's not that. It's Monday through Friday. I work, from like 7 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Get home, and I'm just dog tired. I want to spend time with the family. I want to just watch some stupid stuff on TV. And
That's fair.
Saturdays, I do stuff with the kids, and Sundays I start off with this and then do YouTube stuff.
I do miss the last minute invites to your channel though. Those were always fun. It was always I'm doing a thinking in the middle of a thing, but fuck. And then one time I wasn't. I was like, oh yeah, I'll be there. Yay.
Yeah. I really need to get better about doing some more stream stuff. Like I said, I'm spending like $20 a month on I guess it's Restream, and I need to do something to justify the money.
I hear you. I bought a year on it when the changeover happened because I got a 20% discount if I subscribed for the year coming over from StreamYards. I use the shit out of it. I get my money's worth clearly, but yeah.
But too, I don't want to step on other people like you guys do your thing on Wednesday nights, and
not anymore. No, that's long gone. That's dead. Well, they do. They have one now, but we
they do. They do.
It's coming back on Tuesdays actually, but Brian won't be part of it anymore because he's a bitch.
And then Brian's doing something. Have you started doing your Thursday night?
Yes and no. Like I need to be. The problem is if I don't have something scheduled, it's hard for me to just get on and go by myself.
Yeah.
And like this past Thursday, like I was actually even supposed to meet up with someone, but I'd forgotten to coordinate with them and so then I just I'm not going to go live. It is a problem that I have. Just like if I commit to, hey, we're going to do an interview on this night, I will be there. I'll be there early, good to go. Otherwise, it's a struggle. But
Slan's correct, by the way, in the chat.
Yeah, no, exactly.
No, I know it is. It is almost impossible not to. And that's the other thing.
I stopped doing the Sunday thing because of you guys and Eli. Because for a while it was you guys, and then it was Eli. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to do a Sunday morning show anymore because these guys have shows, and we're all. We tend to in this circle share the same audience.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but no one watches this shit.
That's fair.
It's growing. We're seeing a lot more people in chat, and I think that's good. I'm excited to see that for you. No, I just need to get everything coordinated to start the next deep dive, which Seraphis actually won't be on, but he'll come back eventually.
Because I'm fired. Rightfully so.
You're not fired. Your contract is up.
Ooh, contract renegotiations are tough.
Yeah. Well, the worst part is I absolutely loved doing it. And so I want to figure out something with Seraphis on a different day, partly because that's actually another thing is that day also ended up not being a good one for him anymore with the new school year. So it's kind of when we started doing it, the kids were both in school or preschool or whatever, but because they're in Southern Hemisphere. Well, new school year just started, and so on that particular day, he actually has one of the kids home, so it does make it harder, to do the video.
Yeah.
So I want to figure something out on a day when the kids are gone again. I just haven't put my brain into it. But then Wednesday, I'll be starting the BattleTech deep dive once I get that coordinated.
Sign me up.
No, but that's the whole thing. I mean, I'm basically copying Max Liao, just rotating the different things that I want to cover. After we do BattleTech, then Kim and I are going to do the My Little Pony deep dive.
Yes.
She's super excited for it, actually. And then after that is me and Max Liao doing a deep dive on MechWarrior First Edition. So
you got Max to be on your show?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
MechWarrior First Edition. I don't know. We were just talking about it one day. I'm like, this would be kind of fun. He's like, dude, I would totally be down for it. And I'm like, I am putting you in the calendar. And it was funny. He messaged me the other day. He's like, so when are you like, do you know about when you're going to start this? I'm like, bruh, the Eberron book, which was supposed to be maybe like 12 weeks, so about 3 months, maybe, I figured, went 5.
Yeah, I remember you invited me to be on to talk as a creator about Heroic 2 years ago, and never got that invite.
Yes, because I'm a disaster, and then you were going on everywhere with everyone, and I'm like, I don't know what else to talk.
Yeah, but I wanted to go on with you. That's the point.
I'm a disaster.
You were the one I wanted to talk to because I knew you would ask me interesting fucking questions that made me actually enjoy talking about the game again.
Well, we'll have to figure.
Still available. Just saying.
I know. All right. We'll figure that out.
Bear doesn't have kids, so there's never going to be noise in the background.
I just have cats.
What do you mean no noise in the background? He's got Beans. He's got Misty. There's plenty of crap going on.
Earlier in the pregame chat about the prequels on it, and I said I say Misty's name to Duel of the Fates. I'm not joking. I'll be in the kitchen cooking. Misty will walk in and will be like, Misty. Misty, 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 Misty. And like the cat just stares at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do I get food out of this? This is why I should never have children. Because I would do that to living creatures with brains,
Yes.
And fuck them up for life.
And my daughter is turning out just fine, as you know.
I have no comment on that.
Well, I like Mac. I like your kids. They make me laugh.
Because they're not yours.
No,
if they were yours, you'd be like,
no, I know, but that's another thing. As a new grandfather, it has been a little frustrating because for some reason, anytime I pick up Maverick, he's just fussy and ends up kind of fussing and screaming and crying. And it's like, I'm grandpa. You're supposed to just hang out with me and chill and we'll watch cartoons and stuff. But no, you're going to be a turd. And it's very frustrating.
Well, he's not old enough yet, but have you started preparing to buy your industrial size bag of, Costco Werthers yet to keep in your pockets? That way when then here you go. Put that in your mouth and shut up.
I mean,
that's what my mother did with all my nieces.
I won't say I haven't planned it. No, just kidding.
Well, and the birds and the thing, and why is the color? But here, put this in your mouth.
Yeah,
that's fucking logic, man.
But that's the thing. I don't want to strangle him, because he's not my kid. So, like, I don't want to strangle Seraphus's kids because they're not mine.
Every time I've had to deal with Sarah's kids on one of these streams, I think they're fucking adorably funny. I agree with you on that, Brian. But I can see how if they were mine, I would, have less hair than I already have.
I don't disagree. But just wait until Seraphus has his 4th kid.
Are you having another one?
Notice I said 4th.
Yeah, he only has 2. Are you
right.
planning to have 4? like at what point does once bitten, twice shy not kick in there, buddy?
That is my favorite long-running joke.
And your fucking goddamn insistence that we have more fucking demon spawn. You shit.
I'm not insisting, but I can tell that Grim is not opposed to the idea.
All I'm saying is this is where you need